we are giving a lot of, she's giving a lot of importance, the government is giving a lot of importance to the women, and which is a very good and welcome thing for us. So I think we would like to welcome this budget, and it's a very good one.
Big Tycoon brings to you settlement plot at Dargal near Mopa Airport. Price starts from 15,000 rupees per square meter.
Most of the poorer segment has been benefited with various schemes of the government like Annadata, Awas Yojana, Shauchalaya Yojana, Gas Yojana, and all the incentives that were actually meant for the poor class has enhanced their status of living, and I'm sure that they are taking that into consideration and have not gone for any populist measure. But at the same time, this being an interim budget, we expect that there would be another budget which will be placed after the post-elections. But in this budget, the Honorable Finance Minister has promised to continue with the process that has started for last 5 years. Whatever infrastructure building or other incentives, especially in the various segments. In fact, what is more interesting is, there has been an overall development in all the segments, in all the sectors, and that is what has been highlighted by the Honorable Finance Minister, and we are very happy that most of the things are kept, like tax structure is kept as it is, and also some benefits have been given as far as the processings are concerned, and I am sure this will go a long way in building up the nation first, and secondly, this is actually a step towards the next trillion. So I am sure we are in for a growth and a growth-oriented budget to come.
As far as the Nari Shakti, that is, she has laid more stress on Nari Shakti, and I am very happy about it because for the last so many years we have been doing it, and now we have got people, we have got that 1/3 seat for the women in parliament and state assemblies. All this triple talaq has been gone, and over 70% houses under PM's Rozgar Yojana. What happens is women are given more importance, and with the self-help groups coming into coming into this, we have seen that many self-help groups are becoming, they are making the women independent, and 70% of the houses include PM Rozgar Yojana in the rural areas for women, and now we have seen that 38%, nearly there is an increase of 38% women in girls who have taken they've come into this. We have 38% increase in the enrollment of women in education. So we see that we are giving a lot of, she's giving a lot of importance, the government is giving a lot of importance to the women, and which is a very good and welcome thing for us. So I think we would like to welcome this budget, and it's a very good one.
I think government has emphasized on the safety of the railways, improvement of the almost 40,000 bogies throughout railway sector. I think it will upgrade overall railway sector, and it will promote more people to travel, and definitely it will provide growth in tourism industry. Add to that, government has talked about touristic center for 60 places. I think this is a good thing, and I hope Goa is able to take advantage of it. Of course, Goa is in forefront in MICE business, and I hope in the detailed analysis of the budget, there is something specific for MICE tourism, that is meeting incentives, conferences. To add to that, we also have been requesting government for promotion of inbound tourism. So we hope in the interim budget, with the full-fledged budget, there is some specific in the promotion of inbound tourism into Goa, because that not only brings in the foreign exchange, but it brings in overall growth in all the sectors, and it helps circular economy in big way. As far as infrastructure is concerned, I think as GCCI President just said, I hope Goa government takes advantage of the long-term loan schemes which government of India is providing and completes the ongoing tourism project which are on. Specific to be, there is a convention center which is coming opposite Pariyatan Bhavan. I hope we see the completion of it at the earliest. Add to that, the government had announced a bigger convention center at Donapal, so we hope those will see the daylight. One of the in the near future, which will help the growth of tourism industry in Goa.
As far as the tone of the finance minister and the way it is said, it looks like they are going to continue. So that's the message that they are going to be there for the next term. That is the reason they must have not looked into the minor changes in direct taxation, like giving some standard deductions or some benefits, because as far as direct tax is concerned, there is an entire year, so in the full-fledged budget, they can take care of all the changes. As far as Goa is concerned, there are two major announcements on fisheries and tourism, and definitely Goa will be benefited for that. As far as the tax policies and the tax administration, they are improving, and hope they will improve. And specifically Goa specific, there are certain issues which are taken up with the department also. Hope they take care of those issues, and we welcome this budget.
In fact, this is a interim budget and ahead of the parliament elections. In fact, when there are elections, there could have been a populist announcements, but the government has restricted themselves of giving some populist schemes. I think that's a good, first of all, good thing. They have continued with the many old schemes, but a few schemes I would like to highlight. One is to make India Atmanirbhar. They have come up with the scheme of giving 1 lakh houses 300 units free electricity by way of rooftop solar system. Secondly, they have announced a scheme for ASHA workers. There is a free health insurance for ASHA workers. One more thing is they are trying to, or they will implement, or rather they are putting a corpus fund of 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh crore rupees for new technology savvy youth, so that they will take India ahead. And one more thing is this, as everyone is happy, that old dues of income tax up to 25,000 or 10,000 rupees will be waived off in by way of some certain schemes. I think overall they have tried to balance everything, industry, tourism and many other sectors. I welcome this budget.
Era for Nari Shakti. So more and more women in Goa especially have been getting into entrepreneurship. So let us encourage, from the women's wing, let us encourage them to take more of these mudra loans, avail of these mudra loans and do their scaling up. And also our aim will be to get and more Lakpati Didis from Goa, also from the self-help groups. And a very good initiative is the cervical cancer vaccine for the young girls. I think this is amazing. So it's overall a very good budget for the women.
The finance minister is steered clear of any such adventures, and we are looking at a very conservative fiscal path of fiscal deficit of 5.6%, which is good for the economy as a whole. The focus, I think, if I can see, middle class is trying to be targeted here, because they are, besides the PM Awas Yojana, which was giving houses to the poor, the finance minister announced that a new scheme for housing for middle class, either to buy or to build houses for middle class, is going to be brought in. So definitely the middle class has something to cheer about. And of course the income tax amnesty scheme kind of thing, which will eliminate the small demands which are typically of middle class, especially in Goa. That's a very good step. And from the technology front, the finance minister had mentioned that there will be a 1 lakh crore corpus of interest-free loan for research and development. So that is something which is really interesting. We need to see how that pans out and who gets this money, because it can be a real game changer. And there's also going to be a scheme for deep tech in defense technology. So again, making Atmanirbhar Bharat and providing jobs and providing further opportunities for Indian entities to come into defense. that's a very good initiative. Overall, I think the budget is a welcome budget, and we have to wait for the final budget in July or maybe for the real fine print.
Being a civil engineer, I welcome the scheme of Prime Minister's for housing for middle income groups, which will give a boost to construction industry.
This scheme is also a very good scheme, and we are expecting much more in the next project. On the shipping side, we are expecting industrial status to shipping, which is expected and recommended by many of the shipping associations. But I suppose that will be a change of game in the shipping sector, because inbound goods imports and outbound goods exports is going to be in a big way coming up. Of course, one more thing, tax exemption given to the common man is a big relief to the common man in the case of though the inflation is under control, but still it will give a big relief to the common man. I feel overall we have a very good budget, and welcome this budget on the shipping side.
Tourism angle, where they have talked about certain innovative centers to come up, and they're going to formulate a scheme of how these innovative centers will be supported. They've talked about spiritual tourism as well as of business conferences. So these are I think certain aspects within tourism that probably Goa could immensely benefit. But we need to sit down in detail and see once the budget is read in detail, and then discuss with the state government as to how Goa would maximize this. The second thing is, she also clearly mentioned about fisheries. Now we have to again go into the fine print and see, but I think they want to encourage seafood exports, they want to encourage fisheries as a sector, so I think probably Goa could even benefit immensely from that. Then there is a huge impetus on housing. Probably, as it is, Goa is a well-known place for real estate. And probably middle-income housing is something that can be given more focus in Goa and more emphasis, because they have specifically talked about middle-income housing and how they want to increase and give sort of incentives and subsidy for middle-income housing. So I think there is enough. Plus, she's agreed. She's basically said that the startup companies, where the state government is trying to pitch Goa as a startup destination. Tax benefits for the startups will continue. And again, with special emphasis on women entrepreneurship, she's talked again and again about Nari Shakti, where I think women entrepreneurs probably could immensely benefit from the various schemes that the government is thinking.
As far as industries is concerned, what beneficial in budget as far as mining or industries in industrial sector?
So industrial sector probably would benefit from the reform process. She talked about infrastructure development. She talked about giving interest-free loan to the state government for infrastructure development. So probably port connectivity is something that we can focus on. Railway connectivity is something that we can focus on. See, industry today wants more of reforms than subsidies. At least the personal belief whenever I go and meet industry fellows is, they say we want to focus on two things. One is the reform process, ease of doing business, and because the demand in India is there. We are the shining star amongst all the problems that the global order is facing. So I think the government is focusing rightly in terms of delivering on the infrastructure front as well as the reform process in taxation. So I already said that we had welcomed GST then, and we find huge robust earnings in GST, because that leads to less litigations, because there are no multiple taxes and octroi, and plus there are no state advantages now. So all states have GST. So earlier, whether it was some other state which had better tax incentives than Goa, then everybody used to run there. So I think we are all now at equal, but Goa is unique in the sense that Goa is a small state. And I think, we need to focus on, recently there was Goa Invest Summit, we need to focus on what sectors should be invited. And there have been a couple of sectors named like IT, ITES, logistics and warehousing, medical devices, electronics, because our land size is small. So I think, and if you look at the FM's budget, it basically focuses on many of these sectors. So I think Goa can immensely benefit from. But again, this is a vote on account. When we sit in July again, probably we'll get a better sense.
Do you think that the mindset of the certain people have to be changed when you come for infrastructure? When it is coming in action, like they always oppose it?
See, I think it's always a process of balanced development. There will always be debates, not only in Goa, in any part of the world. There is always a debate for and against. But I think the people and the government and the industry, we are all multi stakeholders in this approach. So we need to sit together and clear people's apprehensions. But I think if Goa has to develop, then the reform process and the infrastructure reforms have to continue.